So we
Thank
have talked about two major attractions for the workshop. One of them is the 6 myths in the industry which are being understood, and the second is in workshop exercises. So could you just throw some light on the 6 myths that we would be discussing?
Yes, actually, some of these myths, I just want to touch one or two of them. The details will be covered during the workshop. One is that some people, some professionals, they assume that catalytic protection could always address microbial corrosion. Like, for example, for pipelines, they may assume that because we have catalytic protection in place, then everything is fine. Now, let me say that for the buried pipeline, when you have a catalytic protection system in place, what happens is that microbial corrosion is not just happening on the outer surface of the pipe. Because as we know, catalytic protection could only be effective on the external surface. It cannot find its way into the pipe. And therefore, if you have the case of microbial corrosion as an internal corrosion, therefore therefore catalytic protection could not be effective at all. So this is issue number one. Issue number two is that we have some documented research that shows that under certain conditions, by applying catalytic protection, not only the activity of bacteria has not been dropped, but also they have become even more active. We still don't know why, but if we want to say that the impact of catalytic protection on prevention or on controlling microbial corrosion is a fact, my answer is that it is still inconclusive. You cannot say so. We have cases where catalytic protection has not been effective at all. Another myth is that some professionals, they say that if we run smart pigs, smart pigging, then we are capable of discovering pitting by microbial corrosion, and therefore we can do preventional methods. This is also wrong, because in most of cases, microbial corrosion manifests itself as pinholes. These pinholes are too small that cannot be picked up by smart pigs that use UT technology. Because in this technology, what happens, simply said, is that there is an incoming signal and then an outgoing signal, and then you measure the time difference, and from there you say that, for example, there is a pit with such and such depth. But this delta T simply doesn't exist when you have pinholes, because there is basically the time difference between incoming and outgoing signals is just too small that the algorithm in the brain of the smart pig assumes it as to be zero. Therefore, you come up with false negatives. Means that based on the results you got from the smart pig running, you can assume that there is no pitting, nothing, and therefore you just leave it. This is exactly one of the main sources of mistake in Prudhoe Bay disaster that happened some years ago. The pigs could not pick up the initiation of pitting in pinhole format by bacteria, and therefore they just lost the pipeline. There are many myths as such.